Hello again, everybody. Man, I can't even begin to tell you, before I start on all these questions that I got this week, I can't even begin to tell you how much better I feel being back in warmer weather. No matter where you live, I guess, it's just always good to be home. That 17 below zero in Indiana, when I left, it took it out of me. I don't know why. I'm just not used to it anymore, I guess. But for 3 days, I was just in a slump. I just didn't feel like getting up, and I didn't feel like doing anything. But anyway, that's done and over. Sue's here. She's out and about today. And I figured as long as I got the house by myself, that I would answer some of these questions. This is going to be a long one, so sit back, relax, get a cup of coffee. Some of this information you may want to know, they're geared specifically to the person who asked the question. But it may be interesting for others that are considering buying a home down here. Jean Rogers. I'm going to use names that we will know who you are. She was interested in the taxes over in the Fruitland Park area, that she had heard rumors that they were higher. They are. I don't know if I would worry about it all that much. It's all about your lifestyle. It's all about in your retirement years, get what you want and just enjoy yourself. And I guess, you just don't worry about a few extra $100 at the end of the year. I called a friend of mine, and this is where the information comes from. I did not call a tax office. I don't have rates like so much per 10,000. I don't have any of that. But this is basic figures. I'm the kind of guy, you can give me all these rates and all this kind of stuff and how it's figured, and my mind don't work that way. But if you tell me that this house cost me $2,000 a year over here in this area, and it's going to cost me $2,500 a year for that exact same house in that area, I understand what that means. That's $500 a year more. And that's what I'm going to tell you. I called a friend of mine that lived actually just a little bit down the street from me. His house here was a $350,000 house. He told me his property taxes there, of course it's Sumter County, was $2,400 a year. Now, he was not homesteaded yet, so that'll be a higher rate. And when you get homesteaded, you save a little. I'm not too sure in Florida how much you save. I'm homesteaded now. My wife pays the property taxes. I'm just enjoying myself. I don't even look at them. I don't even know what they are. So he paid $2,400 a year. He said that same house over in Lake County, which is Pine Hills, Pine Ridge, that area there, that's Lake County. That's the Fruitland Park area. That same house over there, his property taxes are going to be $2,900 a year for the same house. Now keep in mind, your property taxes are based on the land value and the house value. And how Lake County will structure that will be different in a way Sumter County will restructure that. So anyway, it's $500 a year. But, this is a big but, he said that according to the paperwork from the Villages Realty Company, he bought a premier lot. His lot sets on the number 7 or 8 hole, a green, of Okeechobee Golf Course. So he's on the golf course. That's a premium lot. And he said that lot over there cost him $110,000 for this house, just a lot. He said that same lot over here where I'm at, we have lots along the Evans Prairie Golf Course. He said if he was on a hole here, that lot was going to cost him $180,000. So the Villages sounds like they cut him some slack because of the higher tax rate over there. Take that with a grain of salt, because that information, he said, came from the Villages real estate office. I'm sure they may have cut him some slack, but that seemed like a big one to me. They cut you, $70,000 for an extra $500 a year in taxes. It just, my mind doesn't compute that way. So anyway, apparently they are selling the lots a little cheaper there than here, and the house prices they're keeping them down a little more over there than here to kind of make up a difference in the tax rate. He also told me, though, that the electric company is not the same electric company as Sumter County. His electric company said came out of Leesburg. I didn't get the name of the electric company. I didn't think that was important. But he said the electric bill there, even though he's got a bigger house there than here, his electric bill there, he said, is about $10 to $15 a month cheaper there than it is here. I found that kind of interesting. His amenity fees are the same. His trash pickup fees and everything, that's all villages. That's all the same. So it looks like all you're going to pay is a little extra in property taxes a year. You get a 65 and older discount over there. I don't know if we get that here or not. But it definitely, he said over there, he gets all this kicks in for him this year, so he won't really know what the difference is until next year's tax rate, tax payment when it comes out. But yeah, 65 and older discount, cool. So anyway, yeah, it sounds like it's a wash, kinda. So MLS Realtor, some lady, I think it might have been the same lady, asked me about, is it important to have an MLS Realtor with a village realtor? Well, it's a yes or no. I'm going to look at it on your side of the fence if I was you. It doesn't hurt to look on both sides of the fence. Get an MLS realtor and see what they got to offer, and then get a village realtor and see what they got to offer. I mean, the more things you got to look at, the better it is for you, competition-wise, right? I mean, you might find something more to your liking in a better area, maybe a little bit better price. I mean, why not? Here's the bad side to that. The villages will not in any way work with an outside realtor at all. So just keep that in mind. If you find something over here that this other realtor's got that you really, really like, and you're out with, say, a village realtor, and you're looking at some houses, the realtor's taking you around and showing you some houses they've got for sale, it ain't gonna do you any good to ask them if they can stop by this house over here while they're out, or they're not gonna do you any favors at all. They will not work with an outside realtor at all. Just keep that in mind. And then the only other thing I would question with an outside realtor is how long, how fast, and how on time are their closings. I hear a lot of discrepancies on that with outside realtors. They seem to have a problem. I don't know what they are. It could be just the people I've talked to has a problem. I don't know. I bought 2 homes in the villages, and in both cases I went with a village realtor because I had a friend that worked there, and I wanted him to get the commission. And everything was set up. My first home I bought on the internet. I never even saw the house. A couple pictures, but I never physically saw the house. And I did a down payment, did the offer, did the closing. I did everything on the internet. I never even came down here. And it was easy peasy. They got their, let me just say, the village's real estate company and the closing offices has got their shit together. They've done this so many times, there's no mistaking. And on the second home I bought, I was down here. And I wanted to close on the first one. The very same day I closed on the new one. And they set it up, and they told me what time to be there for the first closing, what time to be on the second closing, and it was exactly the way it was supposed to go. There was nothing to it. So that's the only thing I would be concerned about, because I've heard about closings with MLS realtors. I mean, it could be the bank that people pick if they finance a little or something. I don't know, but I know one person had closing changed something like 3 times, and that can be a problem. So anyway, I just cover my bases on that. Jim, Navy guy, wants to know if this place is dog friendly. You know, Jim, I ain't posted the video yet. I'm getting ready to, because I've had several questions about that. And the only thing I can tell you is that absolutely this is a pet friendly area. All the villages is. I'd venture to say there's almost as many dogs living in the villages as there are people. That can be good or bad, I know, but that's a fact. Dog parks, yeah, they're scattered around here and there. You probably ought to know where they're at if you come down for a visit. You should probably go and find, there's 3 that I know of. There might be more, because Finney is down yonder, and I don't know where it is down there, but there might be one there. But there's at least 3 dog parks that I know. One in the old area, Spanish Springs. One in the second area, which would be Sumter Landing area. There's one there. And then, of course, Brownwood here. We don't have one in Brownwood, but just across Morris Boulevard, when you get south of 466A, there's one over at Pine Hills area. And I'm going to go do a video on that one and show you what it is, where it's at, and all that kind of thing. So yeah, we are very pet friendly. The rule is, you asked about the rule about how many pets. The rule is, or it used to be, they change these rules and they don't like mail a statement to anybody and everybody in the villages let them know we've changed the rule. The only people that would really know what the absolute up-to-date rules are people that want to stay on top of it for some strange reason, like a lawyer maybe, I don't know, or a new home buyer. Because if they've had to ask questions, they're going to get the up-to-date rules. But the rule used to be, and I'm going back probably 10 years ago, that it used to be when you came to the villages as a resident and bought a home, you were allowed to come down with 3 pets. And that's what the restriction said, pets. It never said dogs, it said pets. I guess that includes cats or whatever. And one of the rules is, outside your house, they have to be on a leash at all times. That rule down here, you'll see it broken here and there. But I'm just saying it's not a good idea. They've got to be on a leash at all times. And you got to pick up their waste. You can't walk out on the golf course and let your dog take a crap. That's not cool. You can't walk around the postal stations and let your dog take a crap. You got to pick it up. And they don't want you throwing it in the waste baskets around the postal station either, because then the postal station starts to smell like a dump. You know, I mean, come on. But some of these people, these dog owners, are just so, they're lost. That's all I can tell you. So anyway, yeah, it's okay. You know, dogs are good. You have 3 when you come down. Once one passes away, but from that point on, you're only allowed to have 2. Used furniture. Oh my God, we got consignment stores out the wazoo. I don't even know all of them. My wife is the shopper around here, and she goes to all these consignment stores for her and her girlfriends for a lot of stuff. I think one of the most popular ones around the villages is up by Southern shopping center up there. Southern, I can't think of the name of it. Southern something shopping center. That's where the big Walmart's at and everything. It's called Bargains and Treasures. I do believe they have a website. So, or at least Google it, www.bargainsandtreasures. And maybe I'll get up there and do a video of the inside of the store and let you see what they got to offer. But we've been up there. I've been there a few times, and the store's just packed with stuff. And but I got to tell you, this stuff disappears daily, especially this time of year with a bunch of new home buyers down here, and it's winter time. Snowbirds are here, and they're looking to buy. Busloads of them are every day. I see them. And yeah, what you see today, be ready to buy it if you see it. That's all I can tell you, because it'll be gone tomorrow. Turnkey homes. Oh my gosh, yeah. There's all kinds of turnkey homes. You'll find them here and there in different areas. Just know the area you want to go in, how much you want to spend. That's the most important thing. But yeah, you can find a lot of turnkey homes. And you just take them for what they are, and then as you move in, you got furniture, and then as time goes on, you just take out what you don't like and put in what you do. I know a lot of people that's done that. Real estate agent. Well, I'm going to tell you a person that I recommend. She comes highly recommended by several people that I know, and I hear this name mentioned, I won't say every day, but I hear this name mentioned a lot. She's been around a while. And her name is Linda Kramer, with a C. C-R-A-M-E-R, I believe. Linda Kramer. She works for the Villages Real Estate Office. Every year she has a huge, big bash party for all of her home buyers. And I understand she has that party every year for all of her home buyers, even from the past. Last year, I think, if I remember right, I saw it in the paper, she had a party so big for all of her home buyers I think it was up at the polo field. And for those of you that don't know, yes, the Villages has their own polo field, and they have polo events all the time during the season. And it was up there. And so I guess everybody got to watch a polo game, and they had, she provides them with free food and drink, I think, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, give Linda Kramer a call. I've heard that name mentioned so many times that I don't think you'll be disappointed. I'm going to, let me do this here. Jen, how did I end up in Brownwood? Okay, Jen. Well, it's really simple. I was still working, and I bought a patio villa in Lake Sumter area. We loved Lake Sumter area, and we had that patio villa for a few years, and we used it for a vacation home. My wife was retired before I was, so sometimes she would fly down here, and she would spend a month or so down here, and then I would take a week's vacation and drive down at the end of the month, and I'd spend a week down here. Then I'd pick her up, and then I'd take her back home. But while she was down here, that's exactly what she did. She went around to the consignment stores. She painted the different rooms. I mean, I did the living room and the kitchen in the patio villa and the hallways. But there was 2 little bathrooms. She done them, and then she done our bedroom, and then I think that she painted like 1 accent wall in the guest room. So that's what she did when she came down. She would get the place ready, because we rented it out in the winter. And so anyway, that's where we were at. And when I finally did retire, because UPS kind of pushed me out. I couldn't take it anymore. And so anyway, I come down, it was last minute thing. And we sold our house in Indianapolis in like 8 days, really quick. And then, of course, we had to get rid of everything. And when you live somewhere for a long time, there's a lot of things to get rid of. So we sold, donated, gave away, we did what we did. And so when we come down here, I always said that villa was going to be a place to hang my hat until I figured out what I wanted to do. And that's exactly what it was. We come down here, and we brought our checkbook, and we transferred everything to an account we already had down here. And I hung my hat, and then we started looking. Well, when we decided that we couldn't buy in the Lake Sumter area at that time, because when they were building Brownwood, that put Lake Sumter in the very middle of all the 3 squares. And the prices in that area at that time skyrocketed, because everybody knew they was in the middle. And I just couldn't see me. I mean, I worked hard for my money, and it took me a lifetime to save what I got, and I just couldn't see me spending, a bunch of money on a house that actually needed to be upgraded a little bit, and, we just couldn't do it, even though we wanted to stay there. And the real estate lady we was working with at the time, she said, "Did you ever consider new?" And I said, "No," because I figured, if I can't afford a good pre-owned one, then I probably can't afford a brand new one. And she says, "Well, let's go look." So she brings us down to the Hillsboro area, and all this was new at the time. And man, they were still building houses down here. The roads were full of dirt. I mean, it's nothing like it is now. Across the street over there was absolutely nothing. It was just a big field with equipment setting in it. And Evans Prairie was still being developed over here, actually. They had like 18 holes open, I think. The other 9 wasn't open yet. So anyway, we come down and we're looking around, and they had 3 houses in this area that were released to sell. There were some other houses here, and I couldn't even get a price on them because they weren't released to sell. And when I'd asked the questions like, well, when is it going to be released? They didn't know. That's up to the developer. Well, how much is that house going to be when it is released? We don't know. That's up to the developer. And I had to make up my mind. I think at that time, I had 48 hours to make up my mind if I wanted to buy one of these 3 houses, because I wanted to close on the one I'm selling and close on the one that I'm buying on the exact same day, because that was going to make it easier for the movers and actually for us, even though it was going to be hectic. So I had 48 hours to make up my mind for that to happen. And so anyway, we picked this one here, for a couple of reasons. But we picked this one here and we bought it. And this house here in Lake Sumter, pre-owned. I mean, and I've talked about the advantages of pre-owned also. So I mean, I'm not downgrading pre-owns at all. But for the savings, that's what was the deal. This house in Lake Sumter at that time, because the houses skyrocketed. I mean, really, you had to be there to see it. This house was going to cost me around $279 or $289, depending on the upgrades. I bought this house here brand new for $220. So, and then there was no upgrades. I got to do what I got to do. You have to weigh the issues. What's good for you? My wife and I has never had a brand new house in our whole life, and we know that we're, toward the end of the cycle here. We ought to own at least one new house in our lifetime, so we bought one. And that's how we ended up in the Brownwood area. At the time, the Brownwood area was known as the dark side. I had friends in Lake Sumter area that we played golf with and went out and ate dinner with and went to the squares with, and they're great people. And we told them we bought this place, and they came down and looked at it, and you know how it goes. And anyway, my buddy up there, he'd say, why are you guys wanting to move down to the dark side? And that was the first time I'd heard that. This was considered to be the dark side because, quote, this was the build out. No more. This is it. If you want a new home, buy it here. There'll be no more. We've heard that a lot. That's what they said about Lake Sumter too. That's what they said up around Nancy Lopez at one time. That was the build out. So anyway, it's almost a standing joke around here about the build out. So that's how I ended up down here. Somebody, and I can't remember who it was, and I'm sorry, because I couldn't find the comment anymore. Wanted to know if there was any other communities kind of like the Villages, because he thinks, or she thinks, the Villages might be getting too big and too crowded for them. And wanted to know if there was any other areas like this in a smaller scale. Well, oh my God, yeah, they're all over the place. Let me give you some right here. If you're wanting to be kind of in the center of the state where the Villages is, just up across the 441 there at Spanish Springs, you got Del Webb right there. It's a smaller community. It's a golf cart access. They have their own restaurants. They got, I don't know how many golf courses. I know they got at least one because I played it. They got a golf course in there. They got stuff in there. It's on a smaller scale of us. There's one next to us. My God, I can't think of the name of it. Oh my God, I'm terrible about names. Anyway, there's one next to us where the regional hospital is up there. Just on the other side over there is a retirement area, and they have their own golf course. They have their own restaurants, and it's a golf cart accessible community. All those people up there, to let you know, though, how popular we are, they've been fighting for years. So far, they haven't gotten it done. They've been fighting for years to get access to our golf cart trails over here. And they use all kinds of excuses. The latest one's been, this is where their doctor is. And now they're trying to use, sickness as a way of somehow getting access to our golf cart trails. And we can't get to the hospital. We can't, and some of us don't drive, and we need access to that golf cart trail. So anyway, they haven't gotten access so far. Can they sneak on? Oh, I'm sure they can. Here and there, they can sneak on. But the majority of them, no. And there's a reason for that. We pay a monthly amenities fees, maintenance fees to take care of all this stuff. Those golf cart trails aren't free. We maintain them. And everybody wants to use them, but they just don't want to pay them. And that leads me to another question a lady had. Is it cheaper for her to buy a house off the Villages, out of the bubble, around the Villages, and use our amenities? Well, you can't do that. I mean, I know there's ways of sneaking around about it, but you're going to get caught. It's just a matter of time, and then whoever is getting you that, let me explain how this works. You buy a house, let's say, up at Lady Lake, a cheap home up there, but you want to come down to the Villages and use a swimming pool. You want to play on the golf courses. Some of that's true. All the championship courses here was they like to call country clubs, but trust me, I know what a country club is. These aren't country clubs. They're very, very nice, but they're not country clubs. They're championship courses. Those are open to the public. Anybody can play them. So you're not, the idea of using that is not using any of our amenities. That's a public course. It's just that it's inside the villages, and if you got a village's resident card, we get discounted rates to play there and to eat there and stuff. You can also buy a priority membership. And I don't know if priority memberships are offered to the outside. They might be. Just call and ask. It's not a big deal. It could be. But I do know that villagers on the inside buy priority memberships, and they use them for other things too. But as far as you living on the outside and say, I want to come down and use your rec centers. No. I want to come down and use your swimming pools. No. I want to come down and play on your pickleball courts or your tennis courts. No. Now, what happens is somebody has a house here, like me. I own a house. And whoever I'm talking to, you decide you don't want to pay the price for a house here, and you don't want to pay the amenity fees and all that. So you buy a house, say, at one of the surrounding towns, Wildwood. You buy a house in Wildwood. So you want me to get you a guest pass so you can come in and use our amenities. They've changed those restrictions. I'm not sure what they are now, but now they've changed them to where I'm believing the surrounding counties now are not allowed to have a guest pass. You have to live like at least 2 counties away or 3 counties away, something like that, to get a guest pass. So I think you're restricted there. And second of all, is if you do get a guest pass, there's 2 things you have to do when you come in here to be legal. One, you have to have a picture ID to go along with that guest pass. And it tells you this right on the guest pass. You have to have a picture ID to go along with that guest pass. They want to make sure the name of the person on that guest pass is the person holding that guest pass. The second thing is, it says on there, you have to be accompanied by the resident that got you that guest pass. So like, if you're my guest and you want to go to the pool, you have to have your picture ID. Everybody that has a guest pass have to have their picture ID. And then second of all, to be legal, I got to go with you. That rule's kind of tweaked a little bit, because I know that doesn't happen all the time. But if the guy comes in, or the girl comes in, and they spot check, they got the scanner, and they'll come in and they want to see your guest pass, and they'll scan it. And then he might ask you at that point. I'm not saying he will, I'm just saying he might, or she might. They want to see your picture ID. And if you don't have it, they're going to do one or 2 things. They're going to tell you that the next time you come in there, they're going to explain to you how you have to have that picture ID. And you have to be with the person, the resident that got you that. And if the violation continues, nobody gets mean and rough or nothing like that. But if the violation continues, here's the bottom line of what can happen. And I know this can happen because I know 2 people this happened to. They'll find their resident, and they know who they are, and they will put a restriction on their residence pass saying they can't use any of the village's amenities for 30 days or 60 days. Or I know one person, they got restricted for 1 year. And you think, well, they can't do it. Yes, they can. It's in your bylaws that you signed at the bank stating that I agree to follow the rules. So I don't know if I would put my residence, because I play golf a lot. And that means if I go in, you got to give me your card. And they scan it for tee times and stuff like that. And if they scan it and it comes up to the computer that you're restricted, they're going to hand it back to you and say, I'm sorry, you can't play today. And that's it, you can't play. And that goes for the executive courses and all of them. You just can't. So I don't know if I would take the chance. If you like the villages, you like the lifestyle, don't mess around. And don't play the game. Just come in, get a nice little home, enjoy yourself, and enjoy the rest of your life. Somebody else sent me an email about Woodbury, the village of Woodbury, saying that they heard they were building new homes up there and wanted to know if the maintenance and the bonds up there would be cheaper. I haven't been up there in a long time, but from what I've gathered and read, in Woodbury, they're only building Courtyard Villa area. I forget how many it was, 300 or something, new courtyard villas. If they're new homes, no, it ain't being cheaper. The maintenance fees for that district. You got to remember, we got 11 districts here, maybe 12 by now, but we got 11 districts. Each district has their own set of rules. I've mentioned this in my videos 2 or 3 times before. You need to know what those are. You can get them on the internet or have a real estate lady send you a copy or something. But yeah, the maintenance is based on land value. It's based on what they have to spend to put in for that area, and it's all divided equally amongst each home. The roads cost so much money, the water getting in there costs so much money, the drainage, the sewer, swimming pools, all the stuff that they got to put that in first. That's the bond. And then they build the houses and sell them, and so whatever it costs for that area to get built up, get the infrastructure built up, that money is divided equally amongst all the homes inside that area based on land value and things of that nature. So you're not going to save anything there. Just have to like Woodbury, that's all. If you like Woodbury, buy a home there. It's a great place. It's up around Mulberry. Mulberry's a great shopping center. Matter of fact, Cody's Steakhouse just opened up, a brand new steakhouse up there at Mulberry. I understand it's great. I haven't been there, but it's a great place to go. I'm going to end this video quick. We're pushing 31 minutes, and I hate these long videos because I know people get bored with them. But let me just say, I think what I'm going to start doing every Friday, and tomorrow's Friday, you'll get in this video today, tomorrow's Friday, I think what I'm going to do so other people gets a kind of a fair idea of what goes on in and around the villages, I'm going to get in the newspaper every day and pick out the lead article. And Friday, I'm going to read you those lead articles, or read you the importance of that lead article. So you can see daily what's in a newspaper. So we're going to call it the Friday Villages Report or something. And you get a good feel of what happens in the bubble and around the bubble. And so you'll kind of know that this isn't necessarily for everybody. Matter of fact, the guy even sent me kind of a snide remark, really. Want to know why I'd want to live here. So the place looks like a house with a bunch of cookie cutters and blah, blah, blah. Well, you don't have to live here. Nobody said you did. I've said it 100 times. This place ain't for everybody. So, you know, if it's too cookie cutter for you, you think it's getting too big, you think it's getting too crowded, there's a lot of other retirement places to go. That's all I got to say about that. So anyway, I'll get out of here and try to get this thing published for you. I hope it wasn't too long. I hope it wasn't too boring. So until then, all I can say is I'm really enjoying the warm weather again. So I'll see you on the other side.